Was I out for long?
About 3 hours.
Why the guardian angel act? You don't even know me.
You didn't really leave me any choice. I couldn't just leave you like that.
The origami killer is on the loose. He's been kidnapping children in broad daylight, and no one knows how he manages to do it. All the police can manage to find out is that these children have been popping up several days later, drowned from the heavy rain. What the hell is going on? Matters start to get personal. Drawing back onto older adventure games like King's Quest, you're in full control of your character as you interact with the objects around you and look around. You start off playing as Ethan Mars. Life is great and he seems to have the perfect family. A couple of boys who love him and a hot-ass wife as well. Sadly though, fate isn't too kind to him. Tragedy strikes which rips his family apart. His apathetic family barely wants anything to do with him anymore as he finds himself living in a crap-hole apartment. And then history starts to repeat itself with another blow of tragic events. One of Ethan's boys go missing. Heavy Rain actually switches off between 4 different characters, all having a stake in taking down the origami killer. I was originally put off by this. Ethan's storyline was going fantastically well, but then I get shoved into playing this FBI investigator named Norman Jayden. What the hell? I'm moseying around this dark area, can't see for crap, and I'm supposed to methodically pick through this area to search for clues. The atmosphere is dark, and the frustration my character seems to be having on screen seeps into what I'm feeling as well. Eventually, though, everything starts to make sense. This starts to make sense, and I think I finally realized what the point was at this moment. The function of Heavy Rain is that the actions your character is experiencing on screen are supposed to be transferred into you. Scott Shelby, a private investigator working on this case, has an asthma attack early on. Like a QuickTime event sequence, all the different pockets on your coat have a different button or analog stick maneuver assigned to them. Just like Investigator Shelby is freaking out on screen as he can't breathe, you'll be quickly trying all the different pockets so that you don't end up killing yourself. There are a lot of different scenes like this, and as you get more into the story and the characters grow more and more on you, the gameplay will start to feel a lot more personal, and the escalated tragic events will draw you in even more. A large portion of Heavy Rain is essentially a drawn-out QuickTime event sequence, and typically I do hate these. When some crappy hack and slash or even God of War starts demanding I have my video game controller memorized, I start to get annoyed, even though I do know all of my controllers quite intimately well by this point. I won't pretend that Heavy Rain is the one game to magically make them not annoying at all, but it does one of the best jobs at this that I've seen. Early on, photojournalist Madison Page gets attacked in her studio apartment, potentially after a nice steamy shower, if that's where you decided to navigate her. It's freaking insane. Nearly every maneuver your character makes is an act out of desperation as she fends off these burglars, or whatever the hell they actually are. The game demands you properly respond by swinging your stick in whichever direction it shows you or hitting the right button, but the way that it is presented feels much less distracting. Also, if you happen to miss a couple, you don't lose. It's pretty much expected that you do not play this game flawlessly. Your character might get punched in the face or you might bump into the side of a chair, but the game goes on and it doesn't really matter. The thing that'll most likely bug you though, if anything, is having to watch your character get injured because you've already invested so much in them and you'll find yourself caring at least a little bit. Heavy Rain escalates in presenting some crazy life or death scenarios. The choices you make can greatly affect how the rest of the story will play out. Characters can die while the story will still roll on. Several times the game demands that you make some really outrageous choices where neither action is greatly justifiable, but you still need to choose because there is no other option. During the best parts of Heavy Rain, the game is great. I won't pretend that Heavy Rain is amazingly fun to play all of the time. There were many points in the game where I found myself thinking how what I was doing was kind of interesting, that it was a clever thing to artistically portray in a video game, but that the actual required actions and motions to go through were tedious and extraneous. At one point, Private Investigator Scott Shelby must feed a baby and change its diaper. Wow, I never thought I'd be doing that in a game. But as you slowly play out the QuickTime event sequences to get the job done, even though it is impossible to lose this, I guess, it really just isn't that fun. Does this help make the highs in the game even higher? I suppose one could argue that, but just saying though, there is a good amount of stuff that just is not that exciting in this game. Heavy Rain is hardly a traditional video game and much more like an interactive movie. While it's definitely engaging, things like the directing and such often feel very B grade. It also sounds like the entire cast is played by people with an English accent, doing their damn best to fake an American accent, but occasionally slipping here and there. It's not bad outright, but it's really not that great either. They also mispronounce origami as origami 90% of the time, which can be a little soul-crushing. The simple fact is that while the entire package may be considered great for what it is, the actual fun and the experience you'll have might not necessarily fully live up to the game's promise. I really liked Heavy Rain, but I did find it boring at times. The game excels in atmosphere, but not always playability. I actually think this game is best played with someone else with you, who you can discuss what is actually going on in the story and react with them as well. I would say though that Heavy Rain is definitely a game that everyone should at least try out, because it does provide a unique experience that you won't get anywhere else quite like this. However, the trade-off is that it's not always fun. I did like it though. Heavy Rain for the PlayStation 3 receives an 8 out of 10.